Picture the scene. The world is at war. World War II is not just a page in a history book, but a living reality. Aerial bombardments light up the skies over Europe. Siren after siren announces the fall of bombs on entire cities. Families live hidden in underground shelters. Death is a constant neighbor, knocking at doors at all hours. In England, a country already weary from devastation, millions of people tune in to the radio seeking a word of hope. Not military news, not casualty statistics, but something that would warm their souls. It is in this context that a university literature professor, a man who had previously been a staunch atheist, receives an unexpected invitation from the BBC. Come talk about Christianity. This man is Clive Staples Lewis, known as C.S. Lewis, author of novels, essays, and fantasy stories. He now faces the greatest challenge of his life, explaining the Christian faith clearly and directly to millions of afflicted listeners. And here's the twist. Lewis was not a pastor. He was not a pulpit theologian. He was not someone vested with religious authority. He was an ordinary man, a layman, but he was someone who knew the pain of living without God and the joy of being reached by him. Between 1942 and 1944, his lectures spread like bomb amidst the chaos. Words that touched both those who had faith and those who had abandoned religion. These messages were later compiled into a book that spanned generations, Mere Christianity, a book that year after year remains among the bestsellers in Christian literature, and not just for its clarity, but for its power to awaken sleeping souls. Today, you and I will delve into these revelations, not just as a study, but as a spiritual calling, because Lewis doesn't offer us a watered-down Christianity, sweet as sugar. He offers us real Christianity, deep, pure, and when you grasp the depth of these revelations, your faith will never be the same. First, great revelation. The law hidden within us. Lewis begins with a curious argument. He doesn't open the Bible. He doesn't quote any verses. He doesn't resort to miracles or prophecies. He simply invites us to look within ourselves. Have you ever noticed how even children, in a fight, shout phrases like, "That's not fair," or "You know you're wrong"? Where does this sense of justice come from? Who taught a 5-year-old to talk about right and wrong before they even learned to read? Lewis calls this the law of human nature, an invisible but profoundly real law. Just as the law of gravity makes a stone fall, this moral law compels us to distinguish right from wrong. It's not just a matter of animal instinct. It's not just social convention. It's something deeper, a voice that echoes within every human being, across all cultures, across all eras. And the most fascinating thing, we all know what we should do, but we consistently fail to live up to that law. Here is Lewis's first great revelation. We carry within us proof of the existence of something beyond matter, a moral law, written by an invisible lawgiver. And this law not only guides us, it also accuses us. It shows us, every day, that we are not what we should be. This tension between what we know is right and what we actually do is the key to understanding the need for something greater. For if we are unable to fully obey that law, we desperately need someone to help us. And this is where Christianity begins to reveal itself not as a system of morality, but as the answer to a universal human dilemma. Second and third revelations, the mystery of good and evil. After establishing that a moral law exists within us, Lewis leads us to another question. Where does this law come from? For some, the answer is simple: evolution. It's simply inherited survival instincts, a biological mechanism. But Lewis observes, instincts don't explain why we feel a moral obligation even when going against it would be advantageous. For example, helping someone in danger may be risky to one's own life, and yet, we feel it's the right thing to do. This something more points to a spiritual reality. Here arises the second revelation. Good and evil are not cultural illusions. They are universal realities that point to a transcendent origin. But this leads us to a disturbing conclusion. If there is good, there is also evil. And it seems that evil is often dominating the world. Lewis describes planet Earth as a territory occupied by enemy forces. The devil, the prince of this world, acts as a usurper, and we Christians are called to participate in a great resistance, a spiritual sabotage against this false government. This is the third revelation. Christianity is a faith of war, not of complacency. We are not on a spiritual vacation. We are in a cosmic battle, where every choice reveals which side we are on. And here an uncomfortable question arises. Which side are you on? Fourth revelation. The scandal of the incarnation. On this battlefield, the figure of Jesus emerges, but Lewis prevents us from seeing him merely as a wise teacher. He says, we don't have that option. Jesus claimed to be God, so either he was a madman, or a liar, or he was truly who he claimed to be, the Son of God. There is no middle ground. There is no possibility of seeing Christ merely as an example of morality. Here is the fourth revelation. Christianity is not an ethical code. It is the encounter with a living person, Jesus Christ. And what did this person do? He didn't just teach. He didn't just inspire. He suffered. He died. And, in a mysterious and unique way, his death paved the way for reconciliation between God and humanity. Jesus was the perfect penitent, fully God, ready to offer infinite sacrifice, fully human, to represent us all. This is the scandal of the incarnation. The Creator became a creature, the King became a servant, the saint became sin for us. The life of Christ within us. But Lewis doesn't stop at abstractions. He brings us to the heart of the Christian life. Christianity isn't theory. It's not just knowing about God. It's having the life of Christ within us. He uses a powerful metaphor. Just as cars were made to run on gasoline, we were created to live with God. Trying to live without Him is like putting sand in the gas tank. It works for a few miles, but inevitably breaks down. And this is the tragedy of humanity. Civilizations, empires, philosophies, they all fail because they try to function without true fuel. Therefore, God left us three means of grace: faith, which connects us to Him; baptism, which symbolizes our new birth; communion, which reminds us and nourishes us spiritually with the life of Christ. But Lewis emphasizes, rituals alone are not enough. We must imitate Christ, not with immediate perfection, but with constant repentance. For a Christian is not someone who never falls. He is someone who always rises, sustained by the Christ Himself who dwells within him. This is the fifth and final revelation. Christianity is life. It is Christ within us, the hope of glory. And now, the final question echoes to you. Will you continue as a rebel in enemy territory, or will you surrender to the true King? Lewis reminds us Christianity is not simplistic. It is pure, and when fully accepted, it transforms lives forever. If this message touched your heart, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next mysteries and revelations. And remember, Christ did not come to give us moral advice. He came to give us His life.